What makes a good agent design? One thing that I think straight away is unique. Having a unique design, being kind of different, obviously is good, right? If you are, too similar to other agents or whatnot, you're kind of just doing the same thing, but maybe with a slightly different tone, that's not going to be as fun as if, you're just completely out on your own and you're just doing your own thing and nothing else is like you and it's all good and fun, right? Gameplay experience. I think, yeah, let's put... I'm gonna describe it as fun. Are you a fun agent to play? But fun, I'll put fun/good experience. God experience. Good experience. This is important that you take note of this. I'm going to put balance ability. Not their balance, but how easy is it to balance? Is that even a word? Balance ability? Is that how you would say that? Don't know, but balance ability. Basically, if you have a design, and this is, I think, what a lot of games struggle with, is that after, and this is why I'm a big fan of rotation in like all games, because it stops this from happening, but it feels like, the death of the meta of every game starts when an agent or a hero or something comes out that cannot be balanced. That just like at the core concept of the thing just doesn't work within the system of that game. I saw a comment as well in there that definitely is true. Cohesiveness. Now, I feel like most Valorant agents will probably be somewhat cohesive. It might even be difficult to kind of, find agents who aren't cohesive in a way. But the one that's coming to my mind now is someone like Astra. Is the Astra stun cohesive with the rest of the kit, though? Because no one ever really uses it over an Astra suck. Right? So, to me, that isn't a fully cohesive kit, where the Astra stun is only being used when you don't have a suck available, basically. So that to me says that's not a cohesive kit, because you've just got one bit of the kit that is just clearly outperforming the other, and there's never a need to use one part of the kit. You're never going to. Yeah, you could include like backstory, lore, aesthetics, yeah. But I don't think that this would be part of it, but I don't think we will rank this. Okay, so we got unique, fun, good experience, balance ability, cohesiveness, and backstory aesthetics, but we won't be ranking that. So let's begin, and Breach is the first one up. Now, Breach, good design, very good design. I think the fun factor might, keep him down somewhat. I like playing Breach. I find it pretty fun, but I don't think, as I said, he'd be the most fun. I'm going to put him in the A category, I think, for Breach. A good design. I don't think many people would disagree with that, to be honest. I think most people would be okay with Breach where he is. Okay, moving on to Brim. Overall, I'm kind of feeling like C or B. I do feel like I want there at least to be some difference here. I don't just want everyone in B, so I'm going to put Brim in C. Because I have a feeling that if I don't, we'll just end up with a lot of B tier agents, and I don't want that to be the case. I want that to be a bit of a difference. So I'm going to put Brim in C. That maybe he could be a bit more unique. I understand he's kind of designed to be like a noob-friendly agent, right? He's designed to be kind of an introductory agent. I get that. But that doesn't lead it to being the most unique or fun. So, and this is my list, so deal with it. Cypher. Okay, he's somewhat unique. I would say the most unique agent, but not like, not terrible either. I think Cypher is quite fun. Maybe this is just me. I think this might split the room. Some people will find Cypher very boring, and some people will find Cypher pretty fun. I understand a lot of you probably think that, he's a bit weak or whatever, but his kit is pretty cohesive, right? He's kind of that information agent, whatever. Sure, maybe parts of it could be a bit better, but I don't think it's not cohesive. And there's a lot of different ideas of how to balance Cypher, and I think that tells you that he's maybe not the easiest to balance. So Cypher, I think also, as an agent design, I think I'm going to put in the B tier, but again, if we end up with a ton of B tier agents, I might put him in the C tier. Okay, we come to Jett. Is Jett unique? I would say yes. Is she fun? I think Jett would probably top the list in terms of fun. Maybe, people, like if you just polled everyone in the game who's the most fun agent, I think Jett might come top. Balanceability, though, this is kind of the interesting one, right? Because it did take them a long time to balance the Jett dash, right? It took them a long time to balance that, and they had to find like a pretty interesting solution. I bet they worked on that Jett change for a long time in terms of trying to find the correct solution for it. So I'm gonna put her at the top of A. I think if she had been easier to balance, she would have been an S. Omen. Unique. Again, he's perhaps not like crazy out there, right? Like no one, like, you know, Yoru can TP and whatnot. You know, obviously smokes are smokes. You know, he has a flash. I guess the flash is a bit unique and it's a bit different. But I would say he's fairly unique, particularly for a controller. And also if we're going like fun factor, right? Like if we're going fun factor, I think it's unfair to, you know, like go like, oh, all the duelists are at the top, all the, you know, controllers are at the bottom. For a controller, I think most people would say Omen is ridiculously fun. Is he cohesive? Yeah, he's cohesive. And is he balanceable? Obviously, you can change the smokes pretty easily. The paranoia could be changed fairly simply. And the teleports, you know, you can make just the animations longer or shorter as well. I think Omen is taking a lot of boxes here. Is Omen an S tier? I'm going to put him in S. I'm going to do it. Okay, Phoenix. Phoenix, unique. You know, the Molly, kind of nade-esque, let's say. It's like a worse Raze nade. The Flash is a Flash. The Wall is okay. I guess he has the self-healing component, which is kind of like somewhat unique. Is he fun? As duelists go, if you had to rank the duelist by fun factor, I don't think Phoenix would be at the top. Is he cohesive? You know, you can ult, you throw the wall, you throw a flash. I feel like the Molly is still maybe a bit out of place. So yeah, okay, Phoenix, not bad. I think I'll put him in the B tier. I think Phoenix is a classic B tier design. Okay, Raze. Now, Raze to me does fulfill a pretty unique space in the game right now. I think Raze, very fun. I think, again, Raze would be near the top. If we just ranked every agent, Raze would be near the top in terms of fun, I think. Cohesive, yes. Extremely so, I would say. And balanceability. Would it be that hard to come up with a bunch of nerfs that would work? I don't really think so. I mean, you can always just, you know, decrease the damage of nades. I think Raze is definitely in the S tier. I think I'm putting Raze. Raze might be the top one now that I think about it, but we'll see as we go. Sage, unique, yes. Again, this is something I think that they might do with the next. It should be a Sentinel next. I think that's the kind of the Fade Sova thing is, you know, they kind of did it with Viper, sort of, with Harbor. And I think that the next Sentinel might be somewhat like a Sage. Is Sage fun? Now, is Sage the most fun agent in the game? Probably not, right? You get a bunch of people like, oh, you got to plant the spike. Oh, heal me, heal me, heal me, Sage. You know, that probably gets pretty annoying. She's definitely not unfun. She's definitely not boring. Cohesiveness. You could imagine a world in which a Sage had a wall and the slows and had two completely different abilities elsewhere, right? Or you could imagine, Sage kind of feels split in two to me, where you could split Sage down the middle and make two completely different designs, right? You could make a full like healing team healer agent if you wanted to. I'm not saying that that would be good or bad, right? But you could. Or you could make like a full like Sage Wall, Sage Slow agent if you wanted to. Which is kind of interesting, right? Like there's kind of almost two sides to Sage. So yeah, Sage, I think a good design. I think I'm going to put her in the B tier. Sova. Is Sova unique? Now this is an interesting question now, isn't it? Because obviously Sova was very unique and then Fade came in, right? It's not really Sova's fault, but it is what it is. Is Sova fun? I personally have never really found Sova that fun. You know, if you are an average Jonas and Love just lineups, but I wouldn't say he is that fun, to be honest. Is he cohesive? I would say yes. Okay, balanceability on Sova isn't that bad. He's not that hard to balance. I don't think he's the easiest agent to balance, but I don't think he's terribly difficult either. If something was a problem. So you've got this agent that isn't ultimately that unique, isn't that fun, but is, you know, very cohesive and decently balanceable. That to me is like a B tier. But then again, I said I don't want to put everyone in B tier. Okay, Sova, you're going in C. Okay, Viper. Obviously, with the introduction of Harbor, Viper perhaps got a little less unique. But as I was saying with Sova, I think the difference between Viper and Harbor is bigger than it is Sova and Fade. Is Viper fun? I think quite a few people do find Viper pretty fun. Is she cohesive? Yes. 100%. I don't think... Again, she's probably up there in terms of the most cohesive agents, I think. And balanceability. Obviously, Viper mollies you can nerf pretty easily. You can change the level of the decay, which they have done multiple times. I'm going to say that Viper is an S tier design. Okay, here's a good one. Here's a good one. Reyna. Is Reyna unique? I would say yes. Reyna's pretty unique. Is she fun? Depends if the good Reyna's on your team or not, I guess. Is she cohesive? Yep. I think so as well. But obviously the big problem for Reyna is going to be that balanceability part. She's never going to see play in the pro level and both the ranked level. It's just not going to happen. Simply isn't going to happen. She's either going to take over the game. If she was being played in the pros, that means she's just way too strong. And if she's, not being played in ranked, then that means she's way too weak. And there really isn't, they've kind of just stuck with the kind of good in ranked, bad in the pros. I guess we'll deal with it. For me, D tier is, would this game be better without Reyna? And if I'm being honest, I actually think the answer is yes. I think it actually would. If you were going to rotate an agent, I think Reyna would be at the top of their list of agents they want to rotate if they were ever going to do that. So I'm sorry, Reyna. You're in the D tier. Is Killjoy unique? She has quite a few unique abilities, I think. Obviously the trap is a trap. The alarm bot. The nanoswarms actually do play out differently to other mollies, to be fair. They are mollies, but they're somewhat unique. And obviously the lockdown is a fairly unique ability. And so is the turret. Is Killjoy fun? Ooh. I wouldn't say she's not fun, but I wouldn't say she's like, oh, can't wait to play Killjoy. I mean, there will be people out there who do love playing Killjoy. Is she cohesive? Yes. The ult is maybe a bit strange. It does make sense, but when you think Sentinel, like everything else in her kit is quite a defensive tool. But the lockdown is actually much better as an attacking tool than it is a defensive tool. You use a lockdown, not always, but mostly for like retakes or, on an attack, obviously. You will sometimes use it to, try and stop people pushing at you. But that's a more maybe rarer case scenario than you would say for, just putting it down. So balanceability. She's very balanceable, I think. I don't think we're going to run into any Killjoy problems anytime soon in terms of balance. If they need to buff her, it'll be pretty easy to buff. If you need to nerf her, it'll be pretty easy to nerf. Maybe I will put her in B. And I'm looking at Phoenix, and I'm thinking maybe I should bring Phoenix down as well. Go on, we'll put Killjoy B, we'll put Phoenix C. Okay, Skye. Is Skye unique? I mean, the dog is just a drone. The flash, I guess, is somewhat unique that it gives you information. So I don't think she is the most unique. I think she's kind of been... It's not just Sova who's kind of been replaced by Fade. It's also kind of Skye as well. Is Skye fun? I don't think she's the most fun. I don't think she's bad, but she's kind of meh. Is she cohesive? See, to me, the dog, the ult, and the flash are all very cohesive. And then it's just like, it kind of feels like, what's another ability that we could give Skye that like isn't too good to make sure we don't break her? Just give her a team heal that you'll never use. Okay, Skye. Skye. Put her in B. Put her in C. Stick to your guns. She's in C. Okay, Yoru. Is Yoru unique? I would say fairly unique. I mean, Omen, as I said, kind of shares some-ish similarities with Yoru, but, not to a great extent. Is he fun? I would say 1,000,000%. He's up there with Jett, I think, in terms of fun. Is he cohesive? Fairly cohesive, but it could be better. To me, a big problem Yoru has is, like, you TP in, and you don't have anything to kind of... Like, you have a flash, but if you don't know whether that flash is hit or not, is my point, right? You flash, you hope that it hits them. You don't know. You TP in, and now you're just deep into enemy territory, and you're praying that that flash has hit them. Like, I think he could be more cohesive in the fact that if he had an ability like, you know, let's say he could place a smoke, right? Let's say a map came up for him and he could place a smoke where his gate crash is going to be, right? And that smoke went up, and so you didn't know whether it was a fake or not for an even longer period of time. That would be like more cohesive. I know I'm changing the agent completely and they're not going to do that, right? But I'm just talking about like cohesiveness. That would be more cohesive design. Balance wise as well, Yoru has a problem with his gate crash. I think that the E ability is always the most important one in terms of balance. Balancing that gate crash for them, I think, has been a source of problems for them over a while. And we still, because the thing is, if you change that animation to be too quick and he just becomes a better version of Chamber, you know, then you are in massive trouble. Then he's just going to break the game. And I think there is a fine line between having a gate crash be kind of slow and clunky or just being quick enough where it completely breaks the game. So to tell you what I'm going to do, because I'm looking at this now and I'm thinking, okay, I might have robbed Sova and Skye a bit here. I think that they probably do deserve to be B tier, and I think Yoru probably deserves to be C tier. Okay, Astra. Is Astra unique? Actually, yes. In terms of placing stars across the map, in terms of the astral form in general, right? Is Astra fun? Now, maybe again, this is me just being a kind of weirdo. A weird sicko. Sick in the head. I actually find Astra pretty fun. To me, like, getting an Astra suck off on someone, that's going to sound wrong, but you know what I mean? When you get a good Astra suck and you pull someone in and you're across map and you can't even see them, but you've just predicted where they're going to be and you're just in your opponent's head and you've just absolutely giga-brained it. I think it's the most satisfying feeling in Valorant. Is she cohesive? Now, I mentioned this when we were coming up with these topics, that the Astra stun is kind of weird because you never really want to use an Astra stun unless you don't have an Astra gravity well. So is that cohesive? Would Astra be more cohesive if that other ability was something else, was something different, was something that, you know, you used for other situations? And so I think Astra, I'm gonna put, this was my problem with all these B tier, see, because you see, I think I am gonna have to put Astra in the B tier, and this is what I was worried about. Okay, KO, unique. Yes. The suppression, obviously, right now is a KO thing. Is KO fun? I think so. I think KO is pretty fun. Is he cohesive? Yes. I think KO is pretty cohesive overall. Has just kind of like a well-rounded, decent kit, I guess. And balanceability. I mean, you can always make the suppress last short or longer. That's a simple one, right? If you needed to balance his E, you just make the suppress 6 seconds instead of 8. Obviously, a nade, you make it bigger or smaller, like they have done. The flash, you just change the timings, like they have done. So, is he balanceable? Yes, I don't think you're going to have any problems. I think it's a pretty good design. You know, he needed to be balanced a bit at first, but since then, is he an A or S tier agent? I can't really see a problem with KO. I think he's an S tier design. This one should be fun. Chamber. Unique. Is Chamber unique? The answer is yes. He's in his own space. He does his own thing. People didn't understand it. People didn't understand that this could be a thing, that you could have a Sentinel whose subtype was Duelist. No one understood that that could be a thing because it didn't exist before Chamber, and so people just wrote it off as something that you could not have in the game. But you can. Chamber is it, and Chamber is only it right now. And there's more space to be found there when it comes to, you know, designs like that. Sentinels who have a Duelist subtype, there are other things that they could do in that space, you know, to maybe rival Chamber one day, but we shall see. But Chamber is very unique. Is he fun? Is Chamber fun? Is Chamber fun to play? Is he fun to play against? Maybe not. Is he fun to play? I think decently so. Is he cohesive? I think actually he is pretty cohesive. I think he fits what he needs, right? Like he's meant to be an opping agent, right? He's meant to be an operator agent, right? So having a headhunter makes sense. Having a TP makes sense. His ult is also an operator, right? And then, I mean, the trademark actually is perhaps the one thing that you would say maybe doesn't fit in as well. Balanceability. And here we come to the Jett problem part 2. And with Chamber, it's a bit different to Jett because he hasn't been fixed yet. You know, unlike Jett, who did eventually get fixed, with a nice, interesting change, which kept the core fundamental of going in first as an agent, but making it more difficult on the defensive side to get out. We haven't seen what they'll do for Chamber yet in terms of fixing him. So it's more difficult to say. Can he be balanced? I think there are ways, but it's definitely very difficult, and it's proven very difficult for them. If I ask the question, would the game be better off without Chamber? Right now, probably some of you would say yes. Right? That right now, a lot of you would probably say yes, yes, yes. But actually, long term, I think the answer is no. I think the answer long term is no. The answer right now is yes. Whereas I think the answer long term with Reyna is still yes. So I'm gonna put him in C. I don't think he's the most fun. He's somewhat cohesive, unique, but there is still that massive problem of balance. Okay, Neon. Is Neon unique? I think the running thing, the fuel, yep, that's unique. Is Neon fun? Again, I think most people would probably have Neon towards the top of the fun list. Is she cohesive? You run in, you wall, you stun, you go, you slide, you ult. It all fits together pretty nicely. I think she's a very cohesive agent. So you end up with this pretty unique, pretty fun, pretty cohesive, but maybe not the easiest agent to balance. I think that's probably worth an A tier agent for Neon. Okay, Fade. Again, does she have that unique characteristic? You know, it's not the most unique, I don't think. Is Fade that fun? If Fade wasn't that strong, how many people would really love playing Fade? I don't think Fade is that fun, but maybe that's just me. I'm gonna say that Fade is mid-level fun. She cohesive. I think the idea of the trails and the prowlers following them really adds to a cohesive design. I mean, her ult is basically just all of her abilities put into one big thing. So I guess you could say that is cohesive as well. And balance-wise, is Fade easy to balance? There is quite a few different dials you can turn. It's a bit of a weird one with Fade because we haven't really seen how they would balance Fade yet. Has Fade changed at all? I'm not sure she has she? We haven't really seen how they would go about balancing Fade. So Fade, you've got this... I would say like Fade is like your typical B agent for design. And then finally, your last but not least, your boy Harbor. Is Harbor unique? Obviously, you have the curving wall. I forgot the words already. The cove ability. Fun. Is Harbor fun? If he was better in the future, would Harbor be fun? If we buffed his abilities, if we made his slows last longer, or whatever balance change you think would make Harbor balanced, would he then be fun? That's a good question. Yeah, I'm not sure he would be the most fun. Definitely not. I think he'd be below Viper in terms of fun. Is he cohesive? The ult again. Does that fit in with the rest of what he's doing? It just feels like he gets stuns and information out of nowhere. So maybe not the most cohesive, but not like bad. And then balance ability, again, this is a difficult one because obviously he's just come out. So we'll have to see, is he that easy to balance? I've heard the devs talk about this, that, you know, initially they did have longer slow times and they thought it was too strong. Which kind of tells me that if they are going to buff Harbor, maybe, because a lot of people obviously have said, oh, just make the slows longer. But maybe they won't. If they feel like it's going to be too strong, if they just increase it, you know, even a bit, it would get too strong, too quick. And I feel like for Harbor, then we probably have to put him in the C tier. Okay, so yeah, let's just quickly order it. I think I'm pretty happy with Raze 1. I might move Omen down to the bottom of S tier and go like this. Jett, I'm happy with that. Breach, I'm happy with that. Neon, I'm happy with that. I might move Cypher down in the B tier. Pretty happy with Sage at the top of B. Killjoy as well. I might move Fade up above these. And I might move Astra up above these as well. Phoenix, Brim, Chamber, Harbor, Yoru, and Reyna at the bottom. I think that this overall is a pretty good list. And if you disagree, leave your comment down below in the description and I will pay no attention to it whatsoever because you are wrong. And so, yeah, deal with it. If you would make any changes, you know, you're wrong.